Most people think you need a lot of money to start investing. What if I told you it's not the amount that is the problem, but it is where to get your first capital? In today's video, I'm going to break down practical, simple, and realistic ways to find money to invest. Even if you're starting small, jump in. Hello, good people. Hope you're doing well. Jessie is my name, and this is the Money and Growth Circle, aka TMG Circle, where we are working towards getting out of survival mode to financial peace. If this is your kind of content, you can join the TMG Circle by subscribing and liking the video and sharing with someone you know may be interested in this kind of content. And of course, make sure you turn on the notification bell so that the next time we upload a new video, you will be notified. Before you start off thinking where you're going to get money to invest, these are 5 questions you need to ask yourself. What income do I currently have? Where is it going? What can I redirect? Am I managing my lifestyle with my current income? Why do I want to invest? If you have answers to those 5 questions, now we can be able to start the journey. When you make the decision to start investing, sometimes you don't need to look for money, but you need to use what you already have. For example, you can cut some of your weekly expenses. You can set aside part of your income towards investment. You can actually get your money from side hustle, and of course, maybe pocket money, some allowance, and such kind of income. You can reduce impulse buying. You can choose cheaper alternatives for the items that you're already using. This is not about depriving yourself, but reallocation of the funds. The second approach is being consistent. Many people feel like they don't want to start investing because they feel like the money they have is too little. But the small amount grows when it's consistently put aside for that investment. Sometimes you may wait forever and you'll not even be able to get what you think is the amount you need to start investing. Here are ways you can consider adopting to just create the consistency and the habit of investing. Set aside a certain amount. You can even start with as low as 50 every week for purposes of investing. If perhaps you would say you get your pay at the end of the month, you can create the habit on a monthly basis as compared to the weekly basis. You can create a weekly saving challenge, and this challenge is targeted towards creating capital for your investment. For instance, you can say every week I will be sparing something from my budget and then put it aside to accumulate and put the money into my investment at the end of the month. You can also create a mobile wallet where you just put in some money and it is not saved for a specific goal like something for your use or consumption. You're saving it to create capital for your investment. Another option is every time you receive something, say a token, a gift, an allowance, any extra amount you get at whatever time, you set it aside and that will be part of your savings for the week or whichever period you're saving for. This is how most first timers start investing. It helps you build discipline and also it helps you create your first large capital for your investment. Let me know in the comment section, how did you start investing if you have started? And if you're thinking of starting, what is stopping you? If it is something we have not already addressed in this video, keep it here because perhaps the last point will be just what you need to change your mind or your position when it comes to investing. The next thing is, let's look at different ways of how you can make money. Sometimes your budget may be too stringent that you're not able to accommodate an extra deduction. In this case, take an option and look for a way of creating an additional income source. Here are some options that you can consider as a beginner, and based on perhaps your interest and something that does not require one, capital, and two, a lot of skills, and three, you do not even require to study. You can actually practice, or you can learn it online and then you practice it. Number one, graphic design. There's a lot of opportunities in graphic design. Just get to learn some skills and start with basics. With time, you're going to perfect, and maybe it can easily become your source of income. Number two, basic video editing. So many people have become content creators nowadays. So creating opportunities. For instance, this video that I'm preparing will require editing. So if you have basic skills, you can earn an income from it. Some content creators do the editing themselves, others outsource. So it depends. So, and perhaps maybe when you start by editing yourself, and at some point you realize it's overwhelming and you decide to get some help. So all these opportunities keep coming up. The other thing is social media management. Then you can do transcript, and then you can create images on Canva and sell. You can actually do some tutoring, especially like this period when it's the long holidays. You can do some small activities to assist around and be able to make some extra income. The best thing about these skills, they are not age restricted, so anybody can try them and anybody can use them to make money. The next thing you're going to do is create a money to invest fund account strictly for building capital for your investment. This way, you'll be able to put money aside and not mix it with your regular saving and your regular expenditure to avoid getting confused or getting excited, perhaps when you see you have some extra money. Okay, my advice would be open a money market fund and use it to build your investment portfolio. Of course, a money market is one way of investing when you have low risk appetite, but you can always use it to create capital, because I mean, at the end of the day, you're getting some returns in form of the interest, and it's not so much, but at least there's something and it's being compounded, giving you some level of gradual growth as you grow your money to invest fund. Of course, we want to invest, but we also have to be conscious and cautious of the actions we take. These are the mistakes you need to avoid as a beginner investor. Do not borrow to invest. Do not take loans hoping that the investment will pay the loan. Do not fall for the schemes that say that you're going to double your money in a short term. There is no miracle. It's about patience, consistency, discipline, and of course, some heartache here and there when there are fluctuations, but it takes time to get there. Like I said, of course, there are some investments you may get lucky and you quickly grow, but not all the time. If your friend, your peer succeeded in something, it doesn't always guarantee that you're going to succeed in the same way or in the same field. Do not get into an investment before you understand what it is about, because the biggest mistake is when things go south and you're going out to look for help. Perhaps it will be too late. So get to understand the investment you want to get into and then now invest. But don't invest and start finding out the reality on the ground when you're inside. Perhaps you realize maybe you needed to understand when to buy and you needed to avoid a certain period and you needed not to be there, or you needed to sell at that point before maybe something depreciates. So get to understand end to end what the investment is about, so that if you grow, you celebrate. If you go down, you remember that you can wait and things might change in the future. Like we said, most investments which are risky are not for short term. That is also something you need to have in mind. The other thing is putting your money into investments that sound too good to be true. You're told that you put your money today and in a week, 2, 3 weeks, 3 months, your money doubles. Why are these miracles happening? I mean, there are no miracles. There is strategy in everything, but there is no miracle. Of course, they can grow, but it's not a guarantee. And like I said, the biggest thing you need to have in mind before you start investing is that invest money you're ready to lose in case things go south. Raising or getting investment money should be safe, slow, and intentional. Don't get rich quick or borrowing or just following the flow or peer pressure. Take your time, understand before you get in. Do not lose your money out of your ignorance. Lose because it's a risky business, but it's not out of your ignorance. Once you have started the fund, I said money market is one of the options that you can consider because the investment is low and it gives you some returns and the returns are compounded. Okay, so once you have your money market fund in place and you feel now you want to diversify, disclaimer, before you start having a money to invest fund, make sure you have 3 to 12 months worth of living in your savings. That is the time you will be ready to start investing. But don't invest before you have an emergency fund, because if you get an emergency today, you'll be interested in withdrawing your investment and it could be the wrong time for the market, causing you a loss. But if you invest something and then things go south at some point, you still have time to be patient and wait for the fluctuations to change and maybe your money will regain or grow. Okay? And if you want to be aggressive, get to understand what the investment is all about before you get into it. The next thing is start small but be consistent. There will be growth. Keep learning every day and track your progress. And how is your investment journey? Have you made that decision to get into investment and all those things? Let's engage. Let me get to know what is on your mind or on your to-do list when it comes to investing. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have watched this far, chances are you are interested in this kind of content. So kindly consider subscribing and turn on the notification bell so that you'll be notified every time we have a new upload. See you on our next one. Bye.